Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the really fascinating world of corporate communication and public relations. We're going to look at how modern organizations literally orchestrate their own survival through reputation management. Think about it. Every idea, every fact an organization has, it's completely static until it's actually communicated. In our information-driven society, communication is arguably just as vital to a business as, well, food and shelter are to us.
Let's ground this whole thing in a really powerful truth from PR pioneer Arthur W. Page. He said, the fundamental way of getting public approval is to deserve it. Now that isn't just some nice feel-good thought, it's the absolute bedrock of the profession. You just can't spin your way to long-term success. An organization's core actions simply have to match the image it's projecting. Here's our quick roadmap for today. 1. The power of perception. 2. Defining corporate communication. 3. The art and science of PR. 4. Core functions in action. 5. 7 principles of PR. And finally, 6. Essential communicator skills.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the power of perception and how it shapes reality.
It is incredibly clear-cut what the public, your competitors, and your employees actually perceive about an organization. That is the ultimate variable defining its success. Public perception essentially equals respectability. So the primary objective of corporate communication is to establish a very specific perception across all those stakeholders. By managing that perception, you're basically controlling how the whole world sees you. Moving right along to Section 2, defining corporate communication. So, corporate communication is officially described as the set of activities involved in managing and orchestrating all internal and external communications. Honestly, think of it like conducting a massive symphony orchestra. Every single part, from a routine employee email to a highly publicized press release, has to play in perfect harmony to actually sound good to the audience. It's really all about disseminating information through various specialists and generalists to create favorable starting points for the organization, both locally and globally.
The data backing this up is just fascinating. A study by A. Foster Higgins and Company found that a staggering 97% of surveyed CEOs believe communicating with employees positively affects job satisfaction. And get this, 79% believe it directly benefits the bottom line. But here's the catch. Only 22% actually communicate with their employees on a weekly basis. I mean, that is a massive, massive gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it.
To build on that, another really incredible metric from a 1990 study showed that 88% of industrial engineers strongly agreed that a lack of communication among business components literally leads to reduced productivity. When they were asked how to improve productivity, communication concerns drew the strongest response of any question on their entire survey. This perfectly illustrates that corporate communication isn't just about some external branding exercise. It's an absolutely fundamental driver of internal efficiency.
Which brings us to Section 3, the art and science of PR.
Public relations kind of combines the emotionality of art with the really rigorous systems of science. It's defined as a deliberate, planned, and sustained effort to establish mutual understanding between an organization and the public. And because PR professionals are that vital link, often with access to highly sensitive insider knowledge, adhering to a strict code of ethics isn't just optional, it's completely mandatory. Without it, they'd easily cross that line from being professional communicators to just being manipulators.
Okay, Section 4, core functions in action.
The daily functions here are incredibly diverse. It's honestly a massive juggling act. You're managing press relations with journalists who are always hungry for news, you're running promotional campaigns, and you're maintaining these crucial good neighbor liaisons with government and local communities. Add in producing in-house publications and coordinating across radio and television, yeah, you can really see how multifaceted this role truly is.
But, all those daily functions are great for peacetime. You really have to ask yourself, when disaster strikes, how does a company actually survive the fallout? How does a corporate comms team handle a full-blown crisis?
Well, the absolutely crucial point here is that during a crisis, regardless of what actually happened behind the scenes, communicators have to ensure the public and employees only get information that projects a managed, quiet, dignified, and peaceful image. If a company projects aggressive or chaotic behavior, stakeholders are going to immediately question it. The public's understanding of how a crisis is tackled completely defines their reaction. So the PR team has to skillfully use things like press releases and newsletters to make sure the public receives only the information the organization wants them to have, which mitigates panic and protects the brand's reputation.
Let's look at Section 5, The 7 Principles of PR. To maintain that kind of discipline, you need guiding philosophies, like Arthur W. Page's core tenets. First, tell the truth. Let the public know what's happening and provide an accurate picture of the company's character. Second, prove it with action. And third, actively listen to the customer so you actually understand their needs. This ensures your top decision-makers are never insulated from public reaction.
And this brings us to a really brilliant illustration of his specific golden rule. Public perception of an organization is determined 90% by what it does and only 10% by what it says. Think about that. You can have the most expensive, flashy PR campaign in the world, but if your company's actions don't align with your messaging, the public is going to see right through it. Action always speaks louder than press releases.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6, Essential Communicator Skills.
Look, before anyone can step up to manage a global crisis or direct a massive publicity campaign, they've got to master the everyday basics. Courteous telephone etiquette, that puts people at ease. Clear, concise writing for everyday emails and notes, that's totally essential for daily alignment. And of course, public speaking skills are vital for everything from giant press conferences to your standard daily meetings. These are your foundational building blocks. You have to start here.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on the next time you send a professional email, answer a work call, or post online. Whether you're running a massive global corporation or you're just building your own career, are you actively controlling how the world sees you? Remember, 90% is what you do, and only 10% is what you say. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into corporate communication and public relations. Keep communicating, and I'll catch you next time.